welcome to another episode. I am V, and this is the Sussex Set. Yes, I am back. I know a lot of y'all were like, where the hell did she go? I'm here. But yes, I'm happy to be back. So as some of you guys may or may not know, especially if you're on Twitter, you probably see me there most of the time because that's where I am most of the time if I'm on social media. My sister actually got sick with COVID, so I had to take a good amount of time off. I actually had to leave the state and kind of go help her and just kind of get her back into health. She was actually in the hospital for like 2 weeks. So that was definitely sort of a sudden type of thing. I had to take time off work and stuff like that, which is what we do. And then after that, I got home and I just kind of had to readjust mentally and emotionally. So I just definitely had to take some time for myself. But the good news in all of that is that, I mean, Harry and Meghan haven't really been doing a whole lot. They have recently, obviously, but they, maternity leave. I thought they said they were going to take like 20 weeks. And for the most part, before the Time magazine thing was just, a couple of weeks ago, they hadn't really been super visible. But by all appearances, our faves are really back into full swing. And you know what? Coincidentally, so am I. So thank you guys for hanging with me and also for tuning in. And also the best news in all of that is that my sister is doing so much better than she was, I would say, even just this time last month. And, I even posted about it on Twitter, which is not something I really do a whole lot of. I tend to keep a lot of personal stuff, just keep that super separate. I sort of compartmentalize that a little bit. But we were really scared for a minute there. So, I petition for you guys' good thoughts and wishes and prayers. And you guys really touched me with that one. I know a lot of us have really sort of been going through that. I'm even seeing posts from squatties whose parents and other relatives have, also been in a similar situation even just recently. And that's one of the things that is probably the most special to me about Sussex Squad is that it really is a community feel. And you guys have really just touched me, because that was what I needed the most when there were days when it just didn't seem like any sort of hopeful news was coming out. And with COVID, you can't really be there with your loved one in most cases. So that really touched me. And I really thank you. I didn't really get the chance to thank all of you guys. So thank you for that. And, my sister thanks you guys as well. My family thanks you guys. And, that's just what we do, community. And it really does make all the difference when you have it and when you need it and it's there for you. So my sister was actually partially vaccinated, and we think that that's something that, helped her in the long run or will help her in the long run as well. But, just kind of like right on subject, we're going to be seeing Harry and Meghan this weekend, as they continue to talk about the importance of vaccine equity around the world. But just on that topic, most of y'all are probably vaccinated, but if you're not, get vaccinated. Please get vaccinated. I've been fully vaccinated since early May. But a lot of people, it seems like more people have gotten vaccinated even just within the last, 2 months or so, with the Delta strain outbreak that's been happening here. But if you're vaccinated and you have loved ones that are not vaccinated or, fully vaccinated, or they think just one shot will do or what have you, really, really try to convince them to get vaccinated, because that's really the only way we're going to beat this. And there's just no sense in us continuing to lose the loved ones and be fearful that we will lose them. And I know I'm preaching to the choir, but just if anybody is even just on the fence, please get vaccinated and convince your loved ones to get vaccinated too, because that really makes the difference between life and death in the vast majority of cases. So a hearty thank you to all of you guys. Just once again, you have no idea how much that meant to me. So on to some really, really, really great news. Our faves are back. I don't necessarily know if this means that their maternity leave is done and then, once the Vax Live is over, that, they're going to be doing other things, just being out and about? Probably not. But we don't know. Maybe. However, they are feeding the squad this week. You hear me? They're feeding us this weekend. And I just got to say, I'm grateful. Now, we knew they were going to do the Global Citizens Festival, but I didn't know that they were going to give us 2 days of engagements, which is great. I love that. I have so many thoughts and opinions about just that. So does everybody else, apparently, especially the goons in England, in the British press particularly. But I'm loving every bit of it. I know y'all are too. And just, again, a reminder, if you want to engage with most people in the squad, you got to do it on Twitter. Because I don't really post everywhere else regularly, but I'm having the time of my life over there. So join us if you haven't. So day one of Harry and Meghan hit New York City streets tour. Because that's, I'm going to call it what it is. It's a royal tour. Yeah. Show is. On day one of the New York royal tour, we see Harry and Meghan at the One World Trade Center. We see them with the, mayor and the first lady and their son, as well as the governor. Roll that red carpet right on that. Sure did. And here's why I'm calling it a royal tour. It's for the same reason the British press is having a heart attack about it. It's because they know, and we know, New York City media knows, which is pretty much like sort of national media. I mean, because all of the media headquarters, NBC, ABC, CNN, CBS, they're all headquartered in New York City. So even the local reporters and or journalists are their colleagues. Hello. We know that Harry and Meghan are the only royals that matter outside of the Queen. They're the only ones folks want to hear about, folks want to see about, read an article about, watch a TikTok about, see a little news report about. It just is what it is. Listen, we didn't make the rules, but the rules are the rules. And you abide by them. That's why every other article on the Daily Mail website, as soon as you see one site of Meghan, especially this weekend, everything is about the Sussexes. You're abiding by the rules. Who gets the attention? The royals over here. And as far as America goes, I mean, they are the royal family. Because they're our royals and they're the ones that we rep. You feel me? So it's their bitter reluctance to accept these hard facts that has the British media in such a tailspin. And, to some degree, Americans just don't care. Like, we don't care about what you guys say are the rules for how to cover royals. We're going to cover who we want to cover. We're going to cover especially Prince Harry, because Prince Harry he's a prince. He's like a literal prince. You can say they can't use the word royal, but we can. As a matter of fact, I went to a local New York City, I believe it was like an ABC station. They covered Harry and Meghan's, I'm just going to call them engagements, and they called it a royal visit. And so, it just kind of is what it is. So they're having a little bit of a meltdown about that. We know the haters are going to have a meltdown, and I love it for them. So they went to the museum, I believe. Yeah, they were definitely in the museum because a lot of the pictures look familiar from like when they were inside. And then, of course, they went to the, I believe they're called the footsteps, where the buildings were. If you haven't been there, I definitely recommend going. It's a very solemn place. It's kind of mind-blowing when you go there and you just see how big the buildings were that stood where those two holes are, and you see the water sort of pouring into the footprints. And I mean, it's very solemn. It's a beautiful place. The museum, I believe it's at least when I lived there, it was free on Fridays. So just if you get the chance to go, definitely go. Um, Definitely there's no bottom for the British media who somehow finds a way to turn that visit after Harry and Meghan just printed all of the names that they also just looked at because it's, on the edge of each of the footprints, all the victims of 9/11. They printed all of those names, every single victim of 9/11 that passed, because there were many, many victims, but that passed away on that day. They printed them on their website. But leave it to, the British media to go ahead and make a thing out of it. Never mind that when WAP and BOP, as I've been calling them lately, as when they went there, that everybody was just so supportive and glad. I don't think anything should be made out of it. It just should be, people paying their respects. But those two things were among the first things that they did there in New York. I'm not sure that anything that they did after they left One World Trade Center was like public. I think they went out to dinner. But about the fact that Harry and Meghan, they met with the governor and they met with the mayor of New York City. That tells you right there. I mean, and New York City is, I guess it won't say the biggest, but it's the most populous city in America. Girl, what? Like the fact that they can have two leaders, because really you could say that they're national leaders, because if something happens to New York again or something like that, then it's kind of like how we hate the guy now, but how Rudy Giuliani, everybody supported him because he had a lot on his hands. So, that's the office that Bill de Blasio is occupying. They really rolled out the red carpet for Harry and Meghan. And really only other heads of state can kind of get that. The governor, her residence is in Albany, is it? New York? That's the capital of New York? But she came to New York City. You feel me? Now, I know there's a lot of other things going on, and maybe she's there for the I keep calling it Vaxslide, but for the Global Citizens Festival too, or to take part in that, because that's such an important thing. But don't be mad that Harry and Meghan can have some of the most powerful people in the world at their side. Like, the girls are really hot about that. And, I'm sorry for you. And, while everybody's writing their think pieces on how this is a faux royal tour and, what was the purpose of that engagement and what do they think they're doing? You are basically I don't care how you frame it, whether you're trying to frame it as a hater or you're just, writing about what's happening. You're supporting Harry and Meghan and you are proving the point. You are proving the point that they matter more than the folks you claim to be real royals. They just matter more. They can get more done. And they do, in fact, get more done. They get more done just by showing up, right? Because the attention is on them and they know what to do with that attention. And over here in this nation of 332 million people, the vast majority of that attention is positive or at least unbiased. And y'all can't stand it. And that is going to continue to be your problem. Now, let me go ahead and also give a shout out to all of the Sussex squad that showed up to cheer Harry and Meghan and just even get a glimpse of them. I love that for y'all. If I was still living there, you best believe I would have been right there with you. But I could hear the, we love you and, you look good, girl, and all of that. And I could tell that, that's Sussex squad. For real. So, y'all are lucky, but y'all are also riders. So good for y'all that y'all got to see them and not just see them, but show your support for them in person. That's pretty cool. So I'm thrilled for y'all. So every time I see one of those tweets or a new video or a TikTok, I'm sharing it just because I'm those are my people. You know what I'm saying? Those are my people right there. You feel me? And I think Harry and Meghan, because they are so used to seeing people, maybe not here lately, but on their for lack of a better word, like walkabouts, seeing all kinds of people. They know which ones are their ride or dies. You feel me? So I'm glad that y'all got to be in that position.
Meghan, Harry! You look so beautiful, girl! I love you, girl!
And of course, Meghan looked amazing. I mean, I didn't realize how much I missed her face until I saw her yesterday. Like, all facts. She looked just amazing. And Meghan has this way of pulling off this, I call it the basic instinct look. I first noticed this with Meghan, and this is also where, and I kind of talked about this on the podcast previously, where she also channels Carolyn Bessette, who was the wife of JFK Jr., and they died in that plane crash, like, over 20 years ago. And Meghan has gone on the record to say that she does, see her as fashion inspiration. But it's sort of in the same line. So Sharon Stone is in this movie, Basic Instinct, and she's wearing this like white sleeveless dress with a coat, though. And Meghan, I first saw that when she was pregnant. And she went on an engagement in England, but she had on all white, and she had, I believe it was like an H&M dress, or it was a dress that I remember people writing about it and saying it wasn't all that expensive. It was super affordable, and it came down to her knee. And I can't remember whether she had her hair pulled back or not, but it just gave me very much Sharon Stone, just very clean, simple, but so chic type fashion. And then she's really channeling that, at least for the first day in New York. She really did, with the middle part, the hair in the super neat, tight bun. And then, the coat with the simple lines. She will rock a turtleneck. And I think it's the turtleneck, because I think it was a turtleneck dress that she had on in the movie. But it's just, I'm going to see if I can find it. But she was in this super white, clean cut sort of outfit. And she just looked like a bad bitch. You know what I'm saying? That was Sharon Stone in her prime. And Meghan just has a way of channeling these very clean looks. And she really did that. She did that. Mama did that. Harry always looks great, Like I said on Twitter, y'all got me zooming into the man's shoes every time I see him on doing anything, just to see what his shoes are looking like. But coat sold out immediately, Of course, people are saying, well, it's 80 degrees. Why is she wearing a coat? Well, first of all, ain't no way it was no 80 degrees in autumn in New York in the morning. It just don't fly. It just don't pass the smell test. It probably didn't even reach 80 degrees the whole day in New York. And certainly not in the morning. She can wear her coat because she looks good in the coat, and she knows it. And she just looks fly with her wide leg trousers as well. And we see other folks just suddenly wearing wide leg trousers. So pathetic. But she looked great. And then she actually did do a couple of things that I just happened to forget about. Of course, she went to the UN in another coat looking amazing, right, with her bun. And she and Harry, they went to the UN to meet the U.S. ambassador to the UN. And that would be Miss Linda Thomas-Greenfield, Ambassador Thomas-Greenfield. And it was great seeing those photos, just because Harry and Meghan, they certainly can. And why wouldn't the American Duchess, who also did work on behalf of the UN and has given speeches for events and things related to the UN, why wouldn't she be able to go into the UN and speak to the ambassador? Both of them are global ambassadors. Harry, I don't care how you try to slice it. I don't care how you try to take away his titles and whatnot. He's a global ambassador for his country, right? They may not want it to be so today, but now that he is no longer living in his country, he's a global ambassador in general. Why wouldn't they be able to show up in New York City and just walk into the UN and meet the U.S. ambassador to the UN? It's like these people's anger is blocking their ability to use their common sense. And I hate that for them because, they could really be helping to make a difference in the world. But no, they choose otherwise. But yeah, Harry and Meghan, that's not stopping them. And I loved that. And when they came out of that meeting with the UN and U.S. ambassador to the UN, Ms. Thomas-Greenfield, we saw their little laptop cases. And we saw the one that said Archie's papa. But I bet Meghan says Lily's mama. I'm going to believe that until the day I die. Not that it's that big of a deal. But I just would love if hers said that. But they both had their laptops, I'm sure they had some things they wanted to discuss. And, and for people saying, exactly how much could they accomplish? You're not in the room. You're not in the room. Just like Harry and Meghan released their statement about being in the room, you're not in the room. So don't worry about these people and what they're accomplishing. They're accomplishing something. And one thing Harry and Meghan are going to do for you, baby, they're going to give you the data. Yep, they're going to show you their impact. So just sit tight and you will see what they're accomplishing in these rooms. And speaking of that statement, Harry and Meghan released their statement after that meeting with Ms. Thomas-Greenfield, saying, in this room, we had a number of the foremost leaders on public health, pandemic preparedness, scientific progress, and community building. Today's meeting was a much appreciated opportunity to learn from some of the most respected experts who are working tirelessly to end this pandemic. Building on ongoing conversations we've had with global leaders over the past 18 months, today further reinforced our commitment to vaccine equity. We're so encouraged by the spirit of collaboration we heard throughout our conversation and are eager to do our part. Yes, sir. And one thing about Harry and Meghan, they're going to stay on target and they're going to stay on topic. They came here to discuss this primarily, vaccine equity, taking part in the Global Citizens Festival. And this is not like it's out of thin air, like it's not out of the blue. They have always, ever since the vaccine pretty much came about, and, because I don't know if a lot of y'all remember, rich people were getting them first, right? Rich people, well-connected people were getting them first. And as with anything we see in the world that's good or like in the economy that's going to be beneficial to anyone, it's like it kind of starts from quote unquote like the top down. Everything trickles down. And what Harry and Meghan are saying is, no, that's actually not right. And I'm sure so many other people are saying that as well and have been saying it. But actually, this should be across the board. Everyone should have access to it, just like everyone should have access to like clean air and good food, like your basic human right to live a life as healthily as you can and to not be left behind, certainly by science, because science, the science that went into the vaccine, that's really to benefit any and everybody. So if you can catch COVID, you ought to be able to get the vaccine. And I think that's what Harry and Meghan's ultimate point is. And that's just called vaccine equity. So if anybody can, in which we saw with Vax Live, how many vaccinations were donated, how much money was raised in order to get, like, say, folks in India, for example, because that outbreak was happening at the time over there before this one over here in the Southeast where I am in America happened. And we have other fools over here that kind of prevent everybody from being vaccinated because fools just don't want to get vaccinated over here. A lot of people, a lot of it is coming down to politics, but that's neither here nor there. Harry and Meghan, when they put their effort behind this, they can garner the attention that something as important as this deserves. And they do. And there's something powerful in the fact that they know they do. That's why they can command someone like we were saying before, the governor, the mayor, the UN ambassador. This is important. Folks from the World Health Organization. we are trying to figure out why nobody else in the royal family. Y'all stay talking about this ain't no real royal visit and they ain't no real royals. Well, what the hell are the real royals actually doing besides play, caring about somebody's health and somebody else's well-being? Girl, why aren't they in the conversation? You know what I mean? This is why I will roast them every opportunity I get, because that's what they deserve. Because if they're the ones with the power and the taxpayers' funds and, the influence and the class and, the authenticity when it comes to royalty, which really, that shit ain't earned. So ain't none of it really authentic, girl. But if they're the ones who have all the, the influence, then why aren't they using it? Why are they using their energies to compete with Harry and Meghan instead of saying, that is a good idea. What can we do to make sure everybody in England who might not have the vaccine or have access to the vaccine or, may have gotten misinformation about the vaccine, what can we do to make sure they're vaccinated and that our population and our, partners in the Commonwealth countries, what can we do to make sure that everyone has access to this basic human right? They ain't doing none of that because they don't give a fuck about none of that. They do not care. So when the British press is not, trying to bop Harry and Meghan over their head for actually going out here and, actually leading with compassion and making sure their actions are compassion driven, which is kind of like their R12 logo. When they're not doing that, they're just blowing smoke up, Will and Kate and, Charles's butt and the Queen, of course. Because shouldn't they be calling for the royals to do more things like this? Like the very media that's bashing Harry and Meghan in England? Yeah, they should. So should the people who are funding their lifestyles, all these helicopter rides, all of these trips and things that these tours that they do in Scotland that are just duds and flops and failures. Ain't nobody doing that. They should be. But again, all of their attention is focused on the true royals in the scenario, which are Harry and Meghan. And that just is what it is, I guess. But I'll tell you what else it is. It's a real shame. But as I always like to say, that ain't none of my business. Especially these days when Harry and Meghan are really just feeding us so much quality content. And it's beyond content, though. It's actually them setting the bar so high, not just for themselves, but for everybody else who happens to look on. You know what I mean? And especially for celebrities and royal folk alike who fancy themselves philanthropists who... And some actually are legitimate philanthropists. In fact, there are some celebrities who are better at philanthropy than the royals, and all they do is visit charities all day, every day. That's the job, right? That's the job that they said that Harry and Meghan couldn't do part-time. And here they are doing it bigger and better. But I digress. So Harry and Meghan visited on day 2 of their tour of New York, the PS 123 Mahalia Jackson School. First of all, what an adorable visit. It's just something about kids and Harry and Meghan. And you know what else I notice about kids? Really kids of all ages, from high school, like we saw at the Robert Clack School, the last school that Meghan visited in England before coming back to America full time, to just kids in the Southern Africa tour, as well as the Oceania tour, and over here in America. It's just something about kids of all ages. They are so drawn to Harry and Meghan. And it's something in their nature, isn't it? Because we don't see that translate to all the other members of the royal family of a similar age. Just saying. And kids know. And of course they're highly visible, but we see that no matter where they go, whether they're in Harlem or whether they're in Johannesburg, Kids are drawn to them. And I love that. I absolutely love that. And I think it's also beautiful that Meghan got to read her book to the kids and to Harry, which is really cute. And then also the adults, the teachers there, just the cute little calling out saying, hey, we like hugs too, because all the kids, they ran around, they hugged Harry, they gave Meghan a bear hug. And these are the things that you just can't fake. And this is why just the average onlooker says to the royal family, you must be stupid that you had all of this. You literally had this in your possession. All right. Rightfully or wrongly, you had it and you let it go because you thought the royal brand was so strong, when really the brand is what Harry and Meghan are bringing to the table. And I love it for not just their fans, not just for them, but for the people who stand to benefit from their work, that they get to fully own who they are. So take this school visit, for example. We know Harry and Meghan, particularly Meghan, has that very meaningful partnership with Procter & Gamble. Well, listen to what they did. Harry and Meghan and Procter & Gamble, they partnered to stock the Mahalia Jackson School's pantry with free of cost products to help families take care of their personal health and hygiene and maintain clean and healthy homes. Now, for a lot of you guys who may or may not know, but this is probably the same for any large city, there are a lot of people, and that includes children. And especially in a city as expensive as New York City is, where every single neighborhood, including, but certainly not limited to Harlem, are being gentrified. So that means the price for basic necessities over the last decade, just through the roof, probably be beyond a decade. But the need for cost-free supplies, which you will find at a lot of schools, for families, or, even let's say single parents that have 2 and 3 jobs. That's critical. So think about all the types of things that Procter & Gamble can contribute to a pantry that students and parents can access at a school like that. So I just found that so meaningful because it's something that somebody can access today, like right now. But also, Meghan personally donated reading nooks to Graham Wyndham nonprofit locations across New York City to support families' access to books and encourage at-home reading, which is also critical in especially elementary school. And that says a lot because she's been very, very vocal about how much Archie loves to read and how, as she said, he has a voracious appetite for books. And it's something all kids, all families should have access to, especially at an early age. So again, very meaningful. And then also, in addition to that, Harry and Meghan, they left a donation of vegetable and herb planters for the school in response to a need for easier access to fresh and healthy food in the community. Again, easily and readily available and creating positive impacts for any person or kid or family who chooses to access those things. I absolutely love Harry and Meghan. Every time I think I can't love them more, I just do, because they always remind me of how thoughtful they are. And again, it's an example to any and everyone who is looking for a way to be more thoughtful in their life. Like, that's easily something that any of us could do in our respective communities. And Harry and Meghan continue to show us the importance of simply knowing your surroundings and filling a need where you can. I love that. And just to pivot, can we just talk about how phenomenal Meghan looks in burgundy? Somebody put together, and I'm gonna try to find who it was, but somebody put together, I believe it was Kendall, a picture of Meghan in all the burgundy outfits she's worn, from even before being royal to now being, Madam Duchess, you feel me? And she just looks great. I mean, it is a great color. I mean, I remember Michelle Obama most recently wearing that color head to toe, obviously in the inauguration. But boy, that's Meghan's color. Like, she likes that color a lot. Because when you really look back at all the times that she's worn it, it's been a lot. And she looked great. The girl looks gut. She looks gut. I hope she stays at this weight. I ain't gonna lie. She's probably gonna slim down because I think naturally she probably will. But I love her at this size. She looks good. She looks good. And mama ain't trying to hide it. You feel me? Like, she knows she's serving looks. So Meghan had on an oversized jacket and wide leg trousers from Loro Piana. I hope I'm saying that right. I had never heard of them, but I looked at the price and they are out of my price range. Way out of my price range. But I don't care. She looked great. And very in with the season. You know, it's autumn now, and let me tell you, if you have never been to New York in autumn, boy, you are missing out. I mean, it's honestly the best time of year. And I am not exaggerating. This is my personal view. But Meghan strikes me as a person who loves autumn. And so great color choice for her. And then also, how about the I guess they were probably the administrators. Everybody looked great. Like, I liked all of their dresses. And Harry seemed strangely underdressed. But, you know, that's Harry. That's fine. But, you know, it really just seemed like everybody had a great time. And I really enjoy how friendly and just happy the press seems to be with them on this side of things. And who cares about the press? But they're not antagonistic the way that the others are. I don't know if you guys remember when they were on the South Africa tour and Harry put out that statement saying, you know, you guys are so two-faced, basically. You know, y'all see how she is here at the tour, and you know she's the same person, but y'all are acting like y'all are best friends. And then as soon as we get back to England, y'all write a whole bunch of gossip and mess and lies about my wife. It's nice that Meghan is not around that type of press anymore. And whatever information they do get about whatever Harry and Meghan do over here, it's secondhand, or it's through whatever channels they have to go through in order to get, you know, either the information, the pictures, what have you. But Harry and Meghan aren't having to be face to face with a bunch of snakes. And it actually, you can tell, you know, because they feel a little bit more, at least especially on the second day, a little bit more at ease. Now, I know a lot of people were saying, well, more than a few, but not necessarily in a bad way, that they felt that Meghan was, and I even saw some comments on TikTok, that they felt that Meghan on her first day was a little, you know, timid or just very tentative, you know, and I would imagine that's to be expected. I mean, this is her first real outing in public, like a fully public outing after quite a while. It's been a while. And she knows everybody's watching her every move, making every judgment, fair or unfair. And then also, you know, like they talked about their security. We don't know. They in this huge city. We just don't know. So I'm pretty sure a lot of thoughts were going through their head, but they definitely, and especially Meghan, she seemed a lot more at ease today. And that probably had a lot to do with the vibe and the energy of the school as well. And then just being able to settle in and just kind of have your first day behind you. That makes all the difference, I think. But either way, knocking it out of the park the way they do. And then later on Friday, Harry had a meeting, and then they went to a local restaurant in Harlem supporting small business, Black-owned business, Black female-owned business. So let's get into the details. Harry had a meeting with the president, again, another president of Angola, who you may remember he last met when they went on tour in Southern Africa. He went to Angola alone. Archie and Meghan stayed back in South Africa, and he met the president then. In this visit in New York, they discussed environmental issues as well as Angola's continued demining efforts. As you may remember, Diana was truthfully the first royal. By that time, she was an ex-royal, but to actually focus on landmines and the harm that they do across a lot of countries. Some people may be wondering, why did he meet this president and why is that president in New York? They are having the General Assembly at the UN, and that's why he's there. But the UN it's also in New York City. So good for Harry, man. I got to say, the guy is a true statesman. He's a true statesman. And he's so natural at it. And I know he wants to continue to do work and, extend philanthropy, continue to extend philanthropy in places like Angola and, Lesotho and pretty much all of the places that he's been, and particularly where he's spent a lot of time. And then we got word that Harry and Meghan stopped by Melba's, and reportedly Harry tried chicken and waffles for the first time. Gotta say, that kind of surprises me, given that he's in California where Roscoe's is. But I get it. It's a pandemic. Hadn't had a chance to get to Roscoe's. But that being said, shout out to Harry for trying chicken and waffles. And I like the hashtag they use on their tweet, sweet potato hugs. Now, I know he had to have tried some sweet potato pie by now. Please, God. I've never had Melba's, but yeah, looking at the menu, it looks pretty good. Now, they stopped by there after leaving the Mahalia Jackson School, PS 123, and they also donated $25,000. Very generous indeed. And that $25,000 actually goes to helping Melba's restaurants employees who are affected by COVID-19, because it's easy to forget that we're still in the midst of a crisis, right? That's incredible because, really in the long run, that's going to do a lot to help to make sure that Melba's makes it through the pandemic and stays in business and continues to feed the community. Again, it is a small business, one that means a lot to Harlem as a neighborhood in New York. And then also the families impacted by, folks or employees that can't work due to COVID. So shout out to Harry and Meghan for that. Shortly after they left the restaurant, Melba's Twitter account tweeted the following: "It was such an honor to welcome Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, to Melba's. The team and I are so thankful for their visit and their commitment to donating $25,000 and hope to welcome them back soon." Hashtag sweet potato hugs. I love that. Sweet potato pie hugs, actually. I love that. And she is so beautiful. Ms. Melba, there's a picture that I'm looking at. I'm going to put it in the video. Oh my God. I love this. I love this. Everybody, when they go to Harlem, they try to go to Sylvia's. Well, especially the tourists, right? Because that's the one they've heard about. People have heard about Melba's too, but I say go to both of them. Like, hello. But I actually love that. And then apparently Prince Harry likes collard greens because Mama Doria makes collard greens. And that's right, Mama D. Throw down in the kitchen. See, I knew she was cooking the good stuff. You feel me? And apparently somebody overheard Harry saying that that's his favorite. Yeah, they don't make that in England. Not like that. They don't make that in the palace kitchens, do they? I don't think so. I love it. I love it. You feel me? He truly is the Fresh Prince, and that's fine. You got your prince and I got mine. You feel me? But I love that. Raise 'em right, Mama D. Raise 'em right. But no, I like that they're actually, and I like that, I was going to say, I like that they're reaching out to businesses and they're not just doing the global citizens festival and all of that, and then hopping back on a plane to go to LA. I like that Harry is seeing a different side of New York that he might not have really had time to see when he was last there in 2013, or even had anybody on his team to actually allow him to see that as a possibility of a place to go. Even though I don't know why not, because Diana also went to Harlem when she, went to New York by herself that time. So, and I'm sure that might play a part in their decision to actually go to Harlem, and as a way to also honor Diana as well. Because if you think about it, now I don't know how much of it from the Crown was actually true or factual, where Charles was basically telling her, well, you can't do it on your own. You can't, you got to make a fool of yourself, and she didn't believe in herself until she got the love from the people. Well, this is kind of that as well, as in a weird sort of way. It's almost full circle, because that's kind of what people were telling Harry and Meghan. You ain't gonna be able to do it without the royal family backing you. You ain't gonna be able to do it without no tax dollars. You ain't gonna be able to do it without us funding your security. And look, here they are, the talk of the world, really, as far as royals go, because they are the royals over here. And I just love that it's working the way it is supposed to work, because the people who put in the work should get the reward. And I don't really see nobody putting in no meaningful work as far as royals go, besides Harry and Meghan. Like, meaningful, right? Charles is trying to get from under, cash for access, accusations and rumors and rumblings. We already know about Andrew. The other ones, we know they flops. You feel me? And the Queen is old. So, it's Harry and Meghan doing their thing, not paying the rest of them no mind, and still doing the work that they want to do. That is the best case scenario. And I'm just really so happy for them. So really, now on their New York trip, at the end of, because I'm actually recording this on Friday. So now tomorrow, and I'll try to get this episode out before then, but tomorrow is the actual main event that they came for, where they are making an appearance and they're advocating and or letting the world know the importance of vaccine equity. And of course, all kinds of people are taking part in the Global Citizens concert. All the names, the biggest names, are going to take part, just kind of sort of like the Vax Live as well. And I look forward to watching it all play out. I don't know how it's going to be in terms of the number of people. I know it's going to be in Central Park. I don't know how they're going to decide how many people and how close they can get, because usually Global Citizen is like jam-packed all the time. But this is a new, sort of era that we're in. But we'll see. I know I'm going to be watching. I know you guys are going to be watching. And I'm just so proud of the way Harry and Meghan continue to carry themselves. And the work that they do will continue to bless people beyond their lifetimes. And they're setting such a wonderful example for their children. And you really can't ask for much more than that. And so with that, that is about all I have for today. I hope some of you guys that were looking for your Time magazine with the Harry and Meghan cover, I hope you got it. I didn't get the magazine, but I did order a wall hanging with the cover. That was definitely an impulse buy, but I'm glad I got it because I like it. So yeah, hopefully you got the magazine. I don't know how, if they're, you can just buy them anytime, or is it like a limited amount of time? But let me know in the comments, and also let me know, you guys, obviously you will let me know your thoughts about, just the events from the past couple of days. We finally got to see Meghan again. We saw so many people just saying, oh my God, I miss Meghan, because we miss Meghan the most. You feel me? I miss Meghan. Oh, I wish she would just make an appearance. And then we got the news of them being involved with the Global Citizen. So that was it's just great to finally see them. And I can't wait to see you guys live tweeting the Global Citizen concert as well, for at least for part of it, because I probably won't be able to watch the full thing. You can find me on all the places. Like I said, I am mostly on Twitter. My handle is at Meghan Mood. And yes, I'm coming back to TikTok. I really hadn't posted since before my sister got COVID, but I'm about to post because look, I got some more content, so why not? On TikTok, you can find me at Sussex Mood. So Twitter, Meghan Mood, TikTok, Sussex Mood. And then on Instagram, you can find me at Sussex Set. Definitely just drop a line or two and say hi. I would love to just hit you guys back. Special shout out to my patrons and channel members. You guys are the real MVPs. Love y'all. And of course, if you're new to the channel and you like, the conversations, the topics, the comments, feel free to subscribe. You ain't got to, girl. But do what you want to do. Either way, we're going to be here. And don't forget to subscribe to all of the other wonderful Sussex channels, you feel me, and podcasts. I tend to release my podcasts the day of releasing the YouTube video, so you can definitely subscribe on Spotify and iTunes. You can just find it at Sussex Set, or not at, but you just type in Sussex Set and it'll come up. But there's a lot of great channels on YouTube. I believe Henry VIII has started one. You got Royal Sussex. You got, Sussex Global. You got the Sussex Squad podcast. You can find them every Sunday. I don't know. I feel like I'm leaving somebody out. You got Megan's World. It's just so much good Sussex content. And I just live for it because for a while, it was hard to come across anything other than something negative about Meghan. You know what I'm saying? Meghan and Harry. So definitely show them some love too. And one more thing before I go. I wanted to mention that there is a giveaway. I meant to do a giveaway at 15,000 subscribers. And by the way, thank y'all, because, child, I was geek when I got 1,000. Really about a couple of 100, 500, just because it's just kind of like, wow, that's a lot of people. But yeah, I wanted to do a giveaway, and I'll give you a little bit more information about it. It's probably going to be more so like a 20K giveaway now. But either way, or before 20K, it really doesn't matter. But I want to give away about 5 copies of a coffee table book that goes to benefit the charity Waves for Change. Remember when Harry and Meghan went to visit that charity and they were all the little kids with the surfboards and the wetsuits, and they were doing the meditating and stuff like that. And that charity helps kids who have a lot of ACEs, adverse childhood experiences, and just allow them to cope and find healing, where they can. But it's such a beautiful picture book. And I just came across it almost randomly, but I also followed the chair, so maybe that's how I came across it. But I was like, you know what? I would love to bless other people with this book. And so I'll give you guys more information about it, but definitely be on the lookout for that. And it goes toward the charity itself. So that's really kind of the purpose and the point, just because I want to be able to kind of do 2 things with that. But then I also just find it a beautiful, beautiful book. You know what I mean? Anyway, please take care of yourselves. Thank you guys. If you made it this far, thank you so much for just listening to me ramble a little bit. And, I'm glad to be back. You feel me? And so until next time, peace.
I'm a bad bitch. You can't kill me.